And to celebrate Halloween, what's what's more Halloween than a porn soundtrack and pieces of old movies from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
So anyway, it is us. So anyway, I'm JC, and we're here to talk about things. I this is the one I could honestly say I wrote down notes. I forgot to tell people about when we were actually give people the link to get on the show, and so this is completely the JC screws up episode. But anyway, we're here for episode. I think we're on episode 23, which
it says 24 on the top of the.
Okay, well, hey, we're 24 then.
Yeah, I think we're 24 because I think last time we were 23.
Yeah, we were 23 last. Ooh, so Bryce? It looks like you have the heavens floating above.
The galaxy rotates above his head.
Oh, it's got to be Alexa. Turn off lights.
A few things share the name light.
Oh my God, Alexa, turn off.
Oh, do it. Okay.
Just freaking do it.
It used to live at the theater that I used to work at, but when the theater got taken during the pandemic, it's one of the things that came home for me. So yeah, it's a little laser projector that will project lights and then everything on that.
That is very cool. Wow, that's actually kind of neat. Better than my fake Neo Tokyo background that I actually.
Gosh, when I was a kid, I had to actually glue little stuff to the ceiling so I could have glow-in-the-dark lights. And you're muted, so no one can hear you.
That's okay. That's because I was talking to Alexa. You don't need to hear about my private chats with her.
Oh, Alexa. Oh.
But and we have
Alexa.
We have Terry with us again tonight. And so Terry, I thought you were going to say something even more profound, like, we didn't have lasers to show the stars. I had to actually go outside and
I had to use these eyes right here. Look at the real thing. That's right.
I had a skylight when I was a kid, and my mom and I lived close to the forest, so it was always very beautiful out.
I grew up about 20 miles outside of a town of 10,000, and that meant I had no light pollution, almost no light pollution at all. So nighttime was incredible.
My mom lives out in the country now, and it's always so good to just stargaze.
Alexa is busy, doing stuff.
She is.
We should be like telling it, like, Alexa, buy everything for $5,000.
No, that's the last. When I used to work at Philips, we had a guy that mistakenly brought his first edition Alexa in there, and he would come in, and there would be people going, "Alexa, buy 50-gallon tub of lube."
Wow, and I'm not going to say.
I went into the settings of mine and turned that off so that I can't do that.
Yeah,
or other people on the podcast.
I'm not.
Yeah, right now everybody else is going, "Oh my God!" We forgot to add confirm order after it, so it's too late. Now they're going to have to go through, try to get a refund. Oh my God, it's terrible.
All right, so I was just going to say that, I'm not saying the A word because I have one right next to me, and I also don't need the that.
They're not paying you.
All right,
$50 per mention.
And last but not least is Gwen. Thank you for coming on last minute because, I completely, like I said, I just completely forgot to send links and everything. So, but we're all here.
I was on standby, so it's not like it was like, oh, gotta stop doing whatever I'm doing. I was just laying in bed, waiting, idling.
I was. GM Mike is somewhere, I think, apparently. So a couple of cool things is to mention on StreamYard, we actually can do video backgrounds, apparently. Video. Yeah, I know. That's so cool.
Leo is very impressed.
Let's see. Do I have one here? Hold on. Let's see is this well, this is one called Bubbles, but hold on, maybe if I make us smaller. That didn't make us smaller. All right, forget it.
Oh, that background. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll put in a background back in. Oh, I have another hold on. What are the backgrounds do I have here? I have something called something. Anyway,
Something called something. Yeah, that's
The best
very
something.
descriptive.
That's
You're
all.
like a GM or something. Just three words and everyone knows what it is.
All right, so let's start with our first topic because we were kind of getting into it before we went live. So let me hit our bumper.
Ponies and 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 rainbowy ponies and sunshiny ponies and
All right, yeah. So this week in I Can't Stand WotC. So actually, this one is kind of interesting. This isn't more or less me shaking a stick at WotC. This is basically a distributor basically telling WotC to go take a hike, which is more pleasure than my getting to yell and wave my cane. So Penguin Random House, I guess, is going to stop distributing titles for Wizards of the Coast at the end of this year. So, and so Terry, you had mentioned a couple of places that Random House distributed to WotC stuff too. So what are some of those places?
Well, the distributing arm of Penguin Random House is going not only to bookstores, but they're available to game stores and other places that care to order through them. And one of the benefits of going through somebody big like Penguin Random House is they offer a better discount to stores than some of the smaller distributors. And they offer better return options for those places that buy them as well. The loss of Penguin Random House is going to mess them up a little bit because now they have to go to smaller distributors to get to the same places. That means the stores will get less of a discount, so it costs them more. And that may cause some of them to just stop buying as much or stop buying at all.
So is that going to include places like
Your local gaming store, Barnes & Noble,
Ooh.
any place like that uses Penguin Random House as their distributor.
Yeah.
So now
Oh,
now I guess the question is, how is Wizards of the Coast going to spread their evil?
Well, there are smaller distributors. Penguin Random House is not the only one. There aren't a ton of them, but there are still some other ones that are smaller that those stores that really, 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 really want to have that Wizard stuff can order it through. Instead of getting, I'm just using these percentages off the top of my head. Instead of getting a 40% discount on the title, they'll only get 30% or 25% or whatever it is. So basically, their out-of-pocket goes up.
So for the regular gaming public, this means that expect inflation to go to gaming products as well.
Expect your prices to go up.
They're already so hard and expensive.
I mean, it's not as devastating as like well, they go into the comic book world when Diamond and Marvel and DC were feuding because they were the only distributors. But still, this is going to be pretty bad. I'm interested to see. We should along this week go by a couple of gaming stores and get some feedback from them. See if they're saying,
JC, take a microphone and go out there. Here I am, reporter on the spot. Tell me, sir, how is this affecting you?
well, come out to San Francisco. We'll hit that gaming store again that you bought. Alice's.
Alice is Missing. That was a cool game store.
It was really cool.
They were big fans of D&D and Wizards of the Coast, and that made me sad. But they do have a stake. So I'm actually trying to look
So,
here.
JC, if you do this, I want you to wear kind of a spiffy hat and write press on a piece of paper and stick in the hat band.
Yeah, they'll think you're the regular customer going, oh, God, another neckbeard and a fedora.
So the sad thing is that I'd probably spell press wrong at this point. And you're members of the press. Like, what the hell does that mean, sir? Get out of my store. But no, and I'm trying to find it. Maybe it was a sad fever dream, and I made it all up in my head. But
Well, we're all hallucinations in your head, James. You don't really have this podcast.
I don't.
We don't actually exist.
Wow. None of us exist. Well, now we're getting really esoteric. No, but I swear I was on Facebook or something, and I could have swore I saw a fox in a prom dress. Okay.
Okay, who do you follow on Facebook?
Let me hold on. So I'm bringing up Facebook here on the side. I promise I'll share my screen.
Oh, please don't.
I'm scared to see it.
No, but I could have swore I saw. Hold on. That Watsy was using a fox in a prom dress to advertise Planescape. I swear,
An actual fox or like a furry fox?
like a furry, like fox artwork.
Oh,
Now I'm not finding it, and now I'm gonna be sad and look really stupid. But I could have swore I saw this like fox in a prom dress who was doing this like hands out sort of gesture to advertise Planescape. And
now was it from Wizards or was it just like a fan written one?
hold on, Planescape 5e fox. Let me.
Because if you want a fox in a palm vest, give me 3 seconds.
No,
I'll put that
okay.
on the internet.
I was not crazy, so let me show you some stuff here.
Oh boy.
Let me show you my furry porn.
Oh no, here we go.
It's in the folder called GIF.
No, okay. This is from Watsy's official Instagram. Why is it asking? No, I don't want to sign up for Watsy's Planescape. Everyone
You have
just
to
making
wear
fun
fur
of me
shirts
now.
to be in this game.
All right. Oh, here we go. So here, I'm going to share my screen because that's how cool I am. Yeah, this is just my theatrical masturbation show. Anyway, this is let's see.
Does that mean
share
you put
screen.
like makeup on it or something?
You're getting curtains, has a proscenium arch and everything.
So this is the thing I saw, right? So I don't know how many played Planescape
I feel
years
like
ago.
that's armpits look like they're made of like not fur.
But this is how does this say Planescape? How?
I don't know.
How? Like Planescape is this amazing freaking like thing, and this is how Wizards of the Coast is now positioning it.
So Planescape is adventuring in the various planes of existence.
Kind of.
Yeah. So
The thing that kind of made it go big was Planescape Torment.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
So maybe they're like adventuring in the Beastlands or no, that's an actual thing if you know.
Yeah.
That's
maybe
what
the
you
Feywild.
say.
So Planescape to me was about Sigil, right? So Sigil's the
Sigil.
city of doors. It's this rotating spire out in the middle of like what ethereal plane I think it was.
No, it's actually on Concordia Opposita, the plane of being pure neutral. It's at the very center of that plane.
But Watsy's basically taken D&D and given us twink minotaurs, and now they're giving us pretty prom dress sexualized fox furries, like
Okay, hold on. The prom dress bit feels very much like when I was a kid playing like role-playing games and like the default
There you
react.
go.
Okay, that is a prom dress. Never mind. I'll shut up.
And then there's some simpy skeleton head, right?
Well, yeah,
who
that's
is
the
just-
character from Planescape Torment.
Planescape Torment.
But
Yeah,
why is
Chris
he
knows.
simping over a fox in a prom dress?
Look, don't judge the guy's fetishes. He's a bit weird.
And he goes, if you plan it gaming at Shemishka's casino, here's a word of advice. Always think outside the fox. That's such a
Ew.
knee slapper.
Well, if you think inside the fox, that's a totally different kind of performance at the casino.
Yeah.
For that, or an anklet.
But where is the Mistress of Pain, or whatever the hell her name was?
You know, it sounds
What the
like
hell- what the
this
hell is
entire
this?
thing could
Aw.
be replaced with something that was done by Monty Cook Games.
What the? All right, I'm just gonna go and pretend that the
I like the
universe
mouses.
is okay still.
I'm going to show up here and show this.
Ooh.
All right, that's a third party thing. That's probably like 80 bazillion times better than fucking what WotC's gonna put out.
This
Oh, yeah.
is a meteor or something very much like it that smashes through plane after plane after plane, leaving a trail that can be followed by mortals if they have a way to get onto the trail. And inside on the rock itself is a city that no one really understands that has all kinds of gaming potential. And I don't know, is there a picture of that city here? I'll see if I can find a picture, but it's Timeborn is the city. There you go. Tell me you would not want to adventure in a place like that.
Yeah, I would, and I would like want to spend time there and set up a little house and do all kinds.
So
of
it sounds
stuff.
like this is a much better way to do that than buying wizards. Never buy wizards. Buy third party. Yeah.
So I want to show. I want to see if I
You're
can
not wrong.
find. I want to see if I can find some artwork here. So, Brahm did a lot of the original artwork for second edition Planescape, which let's see if I can find some. All right, here's some artwork that I'll say is passable for Planescape as soon as I can find it. Can I zoom in on this? Probably not. All right, well, I'm just going to share this piece of it here. But share. All right, this one here. This is just so like this here, if you can see in the corner. So this is going to be in 5th edition, and yeah, it's not as frightening as the original Lady of Pain or whatever she was called from the original Gamescape. Okay. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Planescape. Let's see, I'm just seeing if I can find, because she's supposed to be like pretty frightening. I mean, I know like this is just the logo here, but still, I don't know. Anyway, I'll stop bitching because then I'll have
The original
nothing.
Lady of Pain almost seemed like less scary and more mysterious and almost like ominous.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole thing. That's actually her name, Lady of Pain, and she'd be like seen wandering through the streets of Sigil, and nobody would talk to her because, well, she was that one that was surrounded by tons and tons and tons of blades.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm sorry.
I'm just curious because that one advertisement was going to, if you're gambling at Shemeska. I know Shemeska was like do you remember the Loths from Dungeons and Dragons? They're not demons. They were originally the demons, Daemon, like the
Daemons.
yeah, demons. Yeah, but yeah, they turned them into the Loths. And so it's like, I remember there were big lumpy gray things. Where does foxes come into that? Unless it's like, polymorphed into like sexy anime foxes.
Well, what about like Rakshasa?
Rakshagok. I'm sorry, pardon. Boy, that's such a great, pseudo. Oh, the Temple of Rakshagok.
The Raksha?
Yeah, the Rakshasa.
Oh,
Everybody says it differently.
Yeah, it's but yeah, I think because they were also part of the Planescape.
I mean, it could be what that fox was.
Oh my God! If they turn like the Rakshasas as into cat girls instead.
I mean, it'd be guaranteed player killer.
Well, it's
right.
true.
Here's one 5e image that I'm not particularly going to harp on. So let me just show this really quick.
It's okay. We'll do it for you.
That's not horrible.
It's not
Yeah,
awful.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks a little bit like a gray in that, though.
And it's here, in Sigil, you can see Sigil here, right? Because Sigil is a circular city, so you can kind of see the city, how it's bending up and everything over here. That's not bad, but if you really want to, I don't know. I just don't think Fox in a prom dress is really selling Sigil. It's kind of like what they did with frickin' Spelljammer. They took Spelljammer and just made it something really dumb. I don't know.
It depends on the customer base they're trying to gain why selling it that way.
Are they trying to gain the customer base at this point? Like my brain just farted. Oh yeah, like the ships. They didn't have any ship rules or anything like that.
Yeah, there's no ship rules.
Moving dungeons.
Yeah, there's no ship combat. It was just, I don't know. And now, and I'm sure there's going to be an 80-page essay at the beginning of Planescape telling people that like horror is bad, and it's just, I don't know.
That you can be any kind of person you want to be.
I mean, I have no
I need to have my
problem.
card to say, no horror, I don't like it. Here's my ex. No!
Why are you here?
I was actually looking at an app that I downloaded today, and it's not that sort of app, so hush.
Yeah, that's what you claim.
Yeah, that's what you claim, but like, why
Fox
would
in
you bring
a
it up?
prom dress, James.
Well, it was a very flat-chested Fox in a prom dress.
Hey, I'm not judging your kink now.
Okay.
I'm not judging your kink.
All right. Moving on to another. So there's an app called Critical Match. I don't know if anyone's heard of it.
It's for
Critical match.
matching up players with games.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and I was looking at it today, and there, I was going, this sounds interesting. So I want to see. Not that I need to find games, but I'm just going, this is kind of a cool idea. I want to see what they did with it. But there's a whole section on like safety tools in it. And it's like, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, you are dealing with strangers.
That is a good point.
The time for the safety tools is before you start playing.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just want to find
You
The
just want to
rough
find something
and-
to be grumpy out.
the Rough and
Grumpy about.
Tumble game finder app or something.
I see.
The
The
no
rough trade
holes
game
barred.
app is a different one.
Close optional RPG here.
Okay, well, that's a little. Well, I don't know. That would be a different type of app. That'd be like if you
We
had,
totally don't game in pants.
that'd be kind of like if you had like an OnlyFans /
Why isn't there an OnlyFans version of Critical Role?
Why isn't there? You said
That's right.
Because there's a loving and just God.
But Terry, there is. Let me see if I can find their website.
Oh my god.
No!
Hey, we're not monetized yet.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This is what happens when you don't script out your agenda.
This is what happens when JC goes, oh, I know that kink. Let me show you.
So here is, basically OnlyFans mixed with the Critical Role. Damn it, where is my share? Oh, it's called Present. Welcome to Table Topless.
Oh boy.
Okay, the name is brilliant. Oh my god, the logo.
Yeah.
Logo.
Yeah, that's
Oh
a
my
pretty
God.
well thought out logo right there.
So you have
Christ.
it's double T's, you have the hilt, which is a dick, and then you have boobs, and then you have a circle. Oh,
So,
are we over 18? Yes, we are.
what's the sword?
What is that? No! No!
The RPG meets adult. Welcome to Table Topless.
Oh my god.
Well, actually, I know the game master too. Jim Despero, Grim Jim. But anyway, yeah. So you get like hot sex workers in bunny ears and other stuff.
Well, I
This
guess
is what we do now.
I guess this is what James is doing. He's reviewing something that, is gaming adjacent. If you stretch adjacent far enough.
Well, I know about it because I know I'm good friends with the game master. But
That's what you claim. I think you're a subscriber. Admit
I think
it.
You're trying to say that we need.
I think it's like the opposite. Like you were originally a subscriber, and they just
Oh
happened
no!
to
Don't
meet.
don't
Oh
go.
God.
Oh, that's okay. We have just went over the edge.
Hold on, wait. I got music for that.
I won't be taking off my top.
Yeah,
Okay,
Thank you.
trust me.
know,
nobody-
here we go.
I forget who it was. There was a God. Who was it? I can't remember which woman it was that had this thing with tassels that she could make them rotate in opposite directions and change one and do them. It wasn't Vampirella. It was an actual person. I don't remember who it was. Some big name
All right.
woman performer that did the burlesque thing.
Oh wow, Tabletopless wants to show notifications. No. All right, let's put on some music.
Keep on, yeah, but let's put on our clothes and go to another.
Yeah, we'll
Another
put on
rock.
something that's.
There we go. Off to the
You
circus.
see what Watsy made us do?
All right. So anyway, let's go into the next topic because that just went weird. All
Thank God
right.
my parents don't watch
Thanks,
this.
James.
Hey, I'm actually in love with the name Tabletopless.
Well, there's a second one called Roll for Seduction.
I remember years
I
ago.
feel like Show Us Your Crits would have been like a good name for like.
Well,
a
that's what
porn
Show
site.
Us Your Crits was originally supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like that's why there's the Sophie logo. Do I still have the Sophie logo here?
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
do.
mean, I remember, and not to go too far into that topic, but was it maybe a decade ago the original strippers play D&D?
Oh, hit it with an axe.
Yes, that's it, yeah.
D&D and Poor Stars.
And I
Yeah,
remember a friend of mine who was very vehement against RPGs, not for like religious reasons, but just for cringe reasons. Well, because he was too cool for school. I showed him that, and he's going, "You've ruined strippers forever for me."
Good.
Yes, exactly. No strippers for you.
It was Elvira doing the tassel twisting. That's who it was. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Oh no, now they're searching for it. Oh my gosh.
All right. So anyway, let's get to the next topic before we actually talk about real gaming stuff. The second shill that I want to do tonight is talk about this.
Ah.
Infinite Oddesseys. So actually, Show Us Your Crits. This actually brings a great segue. So Show Us Your Crits actually was supposed to be an adult-themed RPG show. If you're on YouTube and you want to take a look at what we attempted to do, which has no nudity in whatsoever, and ultimately it just turned us to be people awkwardly trying to talk like sexy, and it didn't work. But we did. Oh God, I can't remember what the frick the show. No, I don't.
As long as
know.
Bryce keeps his shirt on, we're okay.
Yeah, well, no promises.
Let's see if I can find what that was actually called, because these were videos, not that sort of videos. It was the Skyrealms of Marthul. It was a 6-episode one, and it didn't quite go the way we wanted to. So we eventually it just morphed into us doing live stream RPGs, which was Bryce was in a few of them. Terry's been in a lot of them. We even had episode where we've had various game designers on the show. So we had a couple of people from Modiphius Games who actually were writers on the Star Trek RPG, which was kind of fun. We had the guy who wrote the newest version of the Star Wars RPGs, Jay Little, run Star Wars for us. So we've actually done a lot of stuff, but ultimately I wanted to get more serious about it and do a weekly show called Infinite Oddesseys. So I want to start. It's probably going to happen, if not the end of this year, beginning of 2024. Is get together members of this group who are interested in playing, and also try to get in some guest game masters or guest players to do non-adult RPGs based on various things. So and these are things that we've been talking about doing for RPGs for a while. So Bryce is going to do Paranoia for us at some point. Terry's going to do Traveler. I want to do some stuff like Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. Actually, Gwen, also I'm going to do Shadowrun Anarchy for you. So we'll do that as an episode. So there's still a lot of stuff in the works. But
I think One Ring is probably going to be faster for me to get players for rather than Traveler. Just betting.
Oh yeah, you get all the people. We want to do Tolkien. Yeah.
Tolkien.
And then we can sell it as sexy hobbits, and we can do like that porn music thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sure, that's what we'll do.
After hours.
And Dana says, "But James, how could that not
the
work?"
Games, they're Underhill.
I do have my sexy duck voice.
Oh no.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, we will also do RuneQuest, and we'll also do Dragonbane because I love Dragonbane. So yes, I did go on. I did pre-order the bestiary, and the PDF. The artwork is beautiful in that. That is some really cool artwork. I didn't quite go and get another hardbound copy of the core book, so I'm like going, all right, at this point.
Another hardbook. You don't have one. You only have the box set. Admit it.
Yeah, no, I just like that's just a lot of money right now.
So I shouldn't be mentioning when the Kickstarter for Invisible Sun comes out. This is going to be bad for you.
Why?
Invisible Sun?
Invisible Sun is a Monty Cook game. It's not their cipher system. It's something different. It's a big black cube filled with books and stuff and all weird stuff. It's apparently awesome. I have it on my shelf.
Because I love Monty Cook stuff.
See, if I can actually learn the cipher system and love it, I'd probably be more like, that's my problem right now. It's just that I have the core book. I used to have Numenera, and I think I traded or sold those books off, but
good lord.
Oh my god.
It comes in a box.
Wow.
What's in the box? Sorry, I had to do a Severin reference.
Is there an enemy that is just a cube?
Well, it does have this really neat hand to hold the cards on.
Oh, wow. Wow, that came kind of all decked out. But just back to the original thing, we are going to add more games to the list. We are going to be reaching out soon to our fan base and amongst us to see who's interested in filling spots as players and game masters. So more to come on that. All right. So let us actually get to our next topic, and then we'll go into our only game-related topic, and we'll end with Kickstarters tonight. So with that said... Oh, why am I looking down the chat list for the bumpers? Yeah, I need sleep or something.
You need something. That's true enough.
Yeah. All right.
Have you made sure that your blood pressure is okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just kind of
not going to have a weird blood sugar related crash, are you?
No, if I do, I'll go
time?
off. I'll go off camera, and then I'll send you a note, and then you guys can finish it. That would be the plan.
I don't know. That one time.
Well, yeah, because I didn't expect that to happen.
True.
But oh, god damn it, why can't I find the... Sorry for blaspheming. Yeah, where's my... Alright, here's the old one. It's sexy this week in gaming. So anyway, so let's see. What have we done this week in gaming? Bryce, we'll start with you.
Gaming wise, as far as playing, not too much, but a tiny little plug on there. A game related channel on YouTube that people should take a look at if you're really interested in old first edition D&D is called The Joy of Wargaming. Normally, John Mollison, guy out of Hawaii, really great stuff. He would normally do a lot of different little war games, but recently, for the last, I'd say about 2 months or so, he's been doing a playthrough of first edition Dungeons and Dragons as written by all the rules, and more importantly, it's a solo campaign. So basically, he's he's running all the characters. He's generating the map and everything from the charts in the DMD, and it's utterly and completely fascinating going through that and seeing how, when you play by all the rules, how different the game is, such as that you desperately need multiple characters because you've got the rules that as soon as you hit a level, you can't expand until you get some training. And with the game playing in 1 day equals 1 day in time, that means that character is out of play for 2 weeks. So you've got to create another character who's you're gonna play during that time when that guy's getting training to get to the next level. It's really, really fascinating. I'll throw the link in the chat on there, but Joy of Wargaming.
All right. Very cool. Gwen, any gaming?
So I didn't do any gaming this week. And it's just like, okay, go on to the next person. I know. But I did do a lot of reading. And the thing I was reading was called, I'm going to probably mispronounce this, but it's Frey Ren, Beyond Journey's End. And it's a manga series. It just recently got an anime. And it's basically like your high fantasy standard setting, but it's kind of like after the big event has happened and you're now observing the life of one of the characters who is the only elf in the group. And she's an elven mage, and it delves into like the rules of magic in the setting, the like repercussions of just being an elf, and like humans only live to like 60 years on a good day, and elves can live for thousands of years, and it's kind of like that comparison. And it's a really good read, and I would definitely recommend it for like game masters and even players for like role play ideas.
All right, we'll definitely put the link in the chat, because people can see the chat after, on the side, and if they were interested, they can definitely take a look.
So I'm scared to like poke the chat because I'm pretty sure it might like request me to sign in and kill me instantly.
Oh, okay.
So I will link it to you so you can link it.
Okay. Let us go to Terry. Terry, anything in gaming?
Yeah, I gamed with you, and we all amazingly survived, because I expected at least one or two of us to die.
Oh, yep, that, well, I mean, you were careful, which was good and bad. It was good because you survived being careful, but it also is bad because you're trying to figure out your tactics fell apart. But
you mean while one group is negotiating, the other one runs up and tries to run the person through with a sword? That pretty much hampers negotiations.
A little bit.
Absolutely. So I guess on me, it's the game that Terry's talking about. We are doing weekly to bi-weekly sessions of the Seventh Art, which is a Paizo Pathfinder 2 adventure path.
It's actually Gatewalkers is the name of the adventure path.
Gatewalker.
I have heard mixed things about it.
Yep. So it's actually been pretty good. It's kind of fun. I kind of feel that sometimes it's a little railroady in certain parts, but when you get
Yeah, I
to
heard
some of
about
the
that.
when you get to some of the meaty parts, it's actually kind of fun. And the other thing is I've just been writing my actually I spent the week deep into writing Witchlight, which is the code name right now for a tarot-based game about modern witches fighting chaos. It's an urban fantasy RPG that I've been working on actually probably since like 2008. It kept getting put on the back burner, and now I'm actually getting it ready. So that has been my gaming. Hey, David, I'm glad you could join us. I think you missed all the weird, awkward discussions earlier, but if you're
There's
Bryce
interested,
had his
nothing
shirt off.
awkward about it whatsoever.
yeah.
Bryce has his clothes back on now, so you can rest assured your sanity is safe.
All right. So, and actually, speaking of spellcasting and magic, it's another great segue into Gwen, who wants to talk about spellcasting and lore this week. So, take it away.
So there was one big thing that I was kind of leaving out with Freyren Beyond the Journey's End, Beyond Journey's End. And that was the fact that it delves into the history of magic and how it's been an arms race, basically, between defense and offensive magic. And it starts off early on the series. Basically it has Freyren the elf training her apprentice, Farron, I think her name is. I kind of forget. I'm bad with names. Training her to be a mage from like a young child into adulthood. And one of the spells she learns when she's an adult is kind of just your basic attack spell. And her mentor teaches her how to like cast basically shield and block it. It'd be like the equivalent of teaching someone the shield spell in 5e and magic missile. And it also teaches her how to like bypass someone's defenses, like curve the bullet kind of thing and have it go around. And at one point they encounter a demon, and this demon was sealed away by the heroes, which Farron was a part of. Farron is like, all right, so I'm going to remove this binding seal that is currently keeping the demon at bay, and you're going to kill it. And the apprentice is just like, excuse me, but what the fuck? And then, the spell is lifted, the demon has his monologue, he fires off his spell, the dust clears, and the apprentice has her shield up. And she just kind of looks at her master confused, like, Master, he was just like bringing up this huge, powerful spell, and then he just cast the basic spell that you've been teaching me. And she was like, yes. So the reason why that shield spell exists is because of this demon. And then like proceeded to just obliterate it with its own spell, basically. And then like later on the series, you see people encountering this shield spell, and they go, I know how to break that. And they basically say that like instead of using raw magic at the shield, they're manipulating the earth around them and creating just a massive block of earth and using magic to hurl it instead of like actually creating it from magic. And the sheer mass of the boulder and the speed shatters the shield because it's not designed to withstand impacts from, a boulder. And that got me kind of thinking of like, I wish that was like in D&D. But if you dig through 5e spells and 3.5 spells, you kind of do see that. And you can, if you're a DM, spend just like a little bit of effort looking through spells, and you can make this kind of like step-by-step ladder history. Like, for example, Magic Missile being the never miss attack, that it can only be blocked by a level 1 spell, Shield. And then you have like, okay, how do we bypass Shield? Fireball. It's just an area of effect. You're on fire now. Okay, how do we counter that? Well, let's go with resist elements. And then it's like, okay, how do we counter resist elements? Okay, don't use force, don't use elemental, just kill them with a word. And it's like, okay, how do we counter that? Well, we have counter spell and we have death ward.
It's like magical rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, basically. And it's a lot of fun to just kind of like build that up, and it's like an exercise of sorts for like world building, and it's really easy.
So I'll go a little bit into something that I'm introducing into Witchlight, which actually comes from a mutual friend of Bryce and I, John. And not to go into the whole thing because John's version is very long and kind of something you have to really think and chew on. But one of the concepts I want to use from it for magic. So go back to the building, gathering rock to build a boulder and toss it, right? So if you're using magic that is well known, you're safely pulling that rock from somewhere, because rock just doesn't magically appear out of nowhere. You actually have to get the rock from somewhere in the environment in order to cast the spell. So if you're using magic that you're well versed in, you're safely pulling rock. Maybe you're pulling rock pebbles together. You're pulling something that's not going to have an adverse effect. However, if you're using magic, that same spell, in a way where you're doing it without knowing how that spell works, or you're just kind of pulling magic just chaotically from everywhere, you're not
grab whatever you can.
You're not 100% sure where you're pulling that rock. You could be pulling that rock from a stone bridge nearby that's basically used for cars traveling back and forth. So if you're not very versed in magic and you're pulling, I'm pulling tons of rocks, I'm building a huge stone wall. Well, you just may have disabled a bridge over there, and now people are falling to their death. So it's kind of a almost a consequence to magic if you're not actually paying attention to how that magic works. So
I definitely like that take more than the vague thing of like magic corrupts. Like in World of Warcraft, magic corrupts and it's like, ooh, spooky, but then you never actually see how it corrupts.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no...
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
There was one that I was going to write into a campaign so much that, where magic would take life energy and specifically make the person, which is the reason why all your mages have these big white beards and look old or everything like that. They could be 35, but through the effort of constantly using magic, it just rips the life out of them. Except for black magic, which goes, oh, the magic toll has to be paid in life. It just doesn't have to be you that pays it. And then you have the magicians that would use like animals or something like that, but they're less powerful. So you could constantly tell them, because they're the ones that are constantly like ordering mice and cattle and everything else to power their spells.
Well, a couple of concepts that fit into that. So Dungeon Crawl Classics uses spell burn. So once you actually can't cast spells anymore, you can actually start burning your own hit points or attributes in order. So that makes magical deadly, because if you really want to start, I want to continue casting spells and I can't magically do it anymore, you could start burning your own health and your own life force basically to do it. In Conan Exiles, I noticed that when you start learning sorcery, you start gaining corruption. And what corruption does is it starts moving your health and stamina track back and filling those lines with corruption. So ultimately, the further you go into sorcery, the less ability you have to take damage, or do things. But their secret to getting rid of it is you go watch an entertainer, a performer, and it starts putting that back. So that's the way to kind of, I guess, that's the mechanic to get it back. But
that is actually kind of brilliant, because it gives a reason why in Howard and all these things, why the wizards were such freaking degenerates that are constantly watching like naked slave girls dancing and everything like that. That's kind of brilliant of going, oh, No wonder they need to get rid of their corruption.
Actually, I never thought about it that way. That is kind of cool, but I am gonna agree that there needs to be like the one thing that D&D doesn't do very well is it doesn't give you consequences. It just says, "Hey, you can go cast." Now, back in Dark Sun, the setting that apparently no one likes except me. Okay, cool. So Dark Sun had the magic users referred to as defilers because the only way they can use magic was to take things around them. So when a magic user casts magic, the last of the plants that might be around you start to die and start to wilt. And that's how basically Athos, I think it's Athos, became this desolate desert world, because once it was this beautiful fully forests, lots of flora, lots of fauna, large rivers and oceans. And the magic users started using up all those resources and ended up basically making the world this like desert scape after burning it through. So wizards are basically outlawed. They're, like I said, they're called defilers. And if you're found to be one, unless you're in the employ of the Sorcerer King, you're pretty much going to be strung up. It was definitely and that's one of the reasons why I don't understand why it became such a horrible game in this day and age, because it's actually has a very political message to it. It was about global warming and what would happen when we start running our resources dry, done in a D&D
it has
tale.
like the double-edged sword almost, because on one hand you have the global warming story behind it, and on the other hand you have consequences, and so it's like both the right and the extreme left don't like it.
No, exactly. So Dana says something. I just want to post what Dana said here. The big Achilles heel for mages in AD&D was having all your spell components. That was tough, especially in a dungeon.
Very much.
And it just depends on the game master. If the game master was very loosey-goosey, which I tend to be with components, I just kind of say, well, you have enough of your components to cast your spells. But I had one friend, and I know Dana knows him. Bryce, you may know him. Ian Toll.
Yeah, I know Ian.
Okay. So Ian was such a frickin' stickler about components and spellcasting. And he had the weirdest things too, like crab claws and these other things that you had to go and find before you could actually cast a spell. And I just remember it was just kind of like, now I got to go and if I was in an area that didn't have a seafood market and I couldn't buy a bunch of crabs to kill, eat, and take their claws for components, I couldn't do magic, which I guess is a consequence in itself.
Oh, it was, that was kind of one of the things that when they were going back to the old first edition by all the rules, that suddenly you see the reason why the adventurers constantly have to adventure, because especially the wizards, normally they'd be perfectly happy sitting in their towers just researching stuff. But they need that money to get all those components, to do that. And so, and that's the greatest thing about that is going, oh, you got all that money that just popped in your campaign. Guess where it's all funneling out,
But yeah, so, and even Greg says, magic needs consequences. So I don't think we agree that there is a need for consequences, and I think that makes the game much funner. Because funner. Anyway, it makes the game more fun. Yeah, just because if everything comes at no cost, that's one of the problems I have with D&D 5th edition, is that your characters start out as first level superheroes. It's no longer zero to hero as original D&D was. You start off with powers. You gain more powers. It's impossible to kill you. Ultimately, at a certain point,
early 5e, I'd say, is pretty easy to die in, unless you plan ahead, I guess.
Yeah, and the whole CR thing is unbalanced and kind of wonky. But so we played Dragonbane about a week ago, and the cool thing about that, so it does have death saves. However, the thing that makes it a little bit more risky is that your hit points really don't go up after a certain point. Like if you get 20 hit points when you create your character, that's it. Like those 20 hit points aren't going nowhere. And as you're going up in your, adventuring career, your skills might go up. You're going to get better at stuff, but your health doesn't particularly improve much.
So it's a lot like Traveler.
Yeah, so it adds that level of mortality to it where you're going to start thinking twice about going up against ogres, because if an ogre who can automatically hit you, by the way, in the game, there's no play, roll, and miss. You have to be really careful about A, how you strategize your combat, and B, that you just may need to run away. Because if the ogre knocks you down, all right, sure, you get your death saves, but at that point, the rest of your party's probably going to go down. And if you all go down, the ogre's just going to mash you to death. Like, they're not going to go, oh, I knocked everybody down, I'm going to now walk away. And
you mean like when we started facing up with the Wraith that about kicked our butts?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Bryce.
I was going to say, playing Baldur's Gate, surprisingly, since it's based on 5th edition, really reminded me of that, because I had become inured to the fact of, oh, I'm a superhero, I can do on that. And I have never had so many TPKs as in that game, specifically for that reason of just, I'm not thinking about running away. I'm not thinking on that. And like you said, one character goes down, boom, the entire party is down. And you just don't run into situations like that in modern gaming that much, But then again, I got a limited number of game masters. That the last TPK I did was rather appropriately Tomb of Horrors at GaryCon back in whenever the last time we were there, when you guys were premiering Top Secret.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. That was like what, 2013?
17?
Oh, I think it was earlier than that.
Huh.
It's been a while. But anyway, needless to say, yeah, it's but I don't know. I think there's something about a good TPK, good storytelling afterwards, and But
So
anyway,
it was Shadowrun 4th edition. I don't know about 5th edition. I think it has the same thing because they're relatively similar. It had the issue of like you were kind of really super powered, but it also had a really fun thing with magic where you had like the force of a spell and then like the repercussions of a spell, and you always had to like resist its effects, and you could play it safe and go for like a low force spell, and if you did get any like lashback, it'd be stun damage. I think it's called stun damage.
Yeah, it's stun damage. Yep.
Yeah, and then, but alternatively, you could try and like push yourself and get an even more powerful spell, especially if you burn edge.
Yep.
But if you got lashback, it'd be physical and it'd be a lot more.
Yeah, so that was also throwing consequence. So yeah, you could play it safe and have your spells do some effect, or you could try to roast somebody. But if it messed up, you were actually gonna probably end up dead or nearly dead from doing it. So, All right. So I want to just be conscious of time. So let's go to our last segment. And
says the man that started the show 10 minutes late.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to play our new shiny bumper, and Terry can take it over for Kickstarters.
It's still so nice.
It is really good.
Well, I was going to do a different Kickstarter, but since I had to bring this one out, I will do this one.
Okay.
I will read some of the back of here. I mentioned about what it was a little bit. Unlock the mysteries of the planes. A cursed moon hurtles through the multiverse, crashing from one plane to the next, never at rest, forever fleeing a catastrophe that predates existence itself. Behold the Plane Breaker. The Plane Breaker visits all planes, all demiworlds, all dimensions. Some are known to sages and planar travelers, but in a multiverse stretching across epochs, a number of previously uncatalogued planes is vast. The Plane Breaker races through all of them in time and the path that trails behind it creates a route that links them all together. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun.
It's actually a really cool idea, I think, because plane access is really a lot more challenging in regular D&D because that requires characters of a pretty high level.
Yeah.
If you've got a lower level character that finds one of the tokens that leads to the path of the plane breaker, your level 1 group could go on an adventure through the plains. And so it opens it up to everybody. And when they get to the plane breaker itself, it's got this city that has been there since before anyone was ever there. And there's all kinds of exploration there. All of the various races from the various planes come there to trade and do things. So it's a great setting to bring the planes to you as opposed to you having to be meandering through all of the planes.
No, it's it's a really good concept, and honestly, Monty Cook has done some pretty brilliant stuff. I mean, over the years, I'm really curious to what would have happened if Monty Cook actually remained as one of the developers of 5e, because Monty Cook left the development of that. Actually, a lot of them. RPG Pundit was part of that development. So was Zach Smith. The infamous Zach Smith was also one of the consultants on 5e, as well as Monty Cook being one of the designers. And then WotC basically Monty Cook left on his own. Wizards of the Coast, I don't know what they did with Pundit or Smith on their end of the consulting.
I know Pundy was kind of basically chased off by all the activists.
Yeah,
they went straight to WotC and said, "This guy's in. We're going to boycott him." But anyway, I won't open that can of worms.
Yeah. But yeah, so there was money, and also like Cipher System. So I've read it once. It doesn't make sense in my head. I played it once and went, wow, this is really easy. And then when I went to go read it again, I'm like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. So I don't know what it is with Cipher System that for some reason just won't stick. And I won't get rid of it. I still have, like I said, my 2nd edition core rules. I bought a copy of their fantasy one, The Gods of something or other.
No, that was the Wild West one fantasy looking thing. God, what was it? Now I don't remember.
No, there's one with dragons on it.
Oh, that's right. I remember it now.
Hold on, let's see. Your game tools. Monty Cook, you disappoint me. What about? I don't know. I'm just looking at my Cook's website. And it's not okay. Invisible Sun. No, thank you. Evil.
Godforsaken.
Godforsaken. Yes, I still have that down. I still have that with my Cipher System. I definitely want to run it someday. It's just one of those games.
Another one to add to your list for going on the other.
I know.
Now, one thing about this Kickstarter, before you talk about other things there, this Kickstarter came in both 5e and Cipher System, so I have books for both. So they did a dual one on that. It also came with the Planar Beastry.
Oh, nice.
Planebreaker character options.
Ooh.
And a nice little GM screen.
Oh wow, that's actually a nice little. Did it come in a cool box or anything? Or
no, it's this is a little wraparound that goes around the game.
Okay.
Neat little art on it, though. How'd you like to have your castle wandering around the neighborhood?
I love stuff like that.
So yeah, it's a nice big, lengthy GM screen.
Oh, got a 4-fold.
It's got a 4-fold, and it's got cats in the way.
Comes with cats.
All the various kinds of things that one would expect to find inside a GM screen.
Nice.
That's actually really nice.
It is. Monty Cook, like you said, does really nice stuff.
Yeah, I put the link in this on our chat. One of the last things before we just close is speaking of Monty Cook games, there is one game that I really, 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 really am interested in just from the name and the artwork in it, and it's this one here, The Old Gods of Appalachia.
Ooh.
Ooh, that looks really cool. That's
Yeah.
just beautifully spooky.
Yeah, it's I don't know much about it other than it's by Monty Cook, and it has to do with kind of like Appalachian folktales.
Oh,
But
yeah, put that link in the description. I'll look at that myself
all right.
because I love the Americana, dark Americana type stuff.
So let me go ahead and put that in there. Copy. Terry's looking. Watch, he'll pull it out and go, look, I did the Kickstarter.
I, in fact, did do the Kickstarter.
Oh.
And I, in fact, do have it here somewhere. So keep talking and I'll keep looking.
All right. Definitely maybe we can talk about it next
Yeah, definitely.
next episode. Because
I'm all up at that shit.
Yeah, is it Cypher too? No. I don't know if it's Cypher. Wow, the artwork on this is freaking amazing. So yeah, if you go to the link and scroll down, it's it looks really creepy, and
that's exactly that type of feel that you should. Well, I mean, now that you're in the New England / Northwest, you can see what happens when it gets dark, and
Well, Appalachia is what, maybe 8 hours from here? Because isn't it like Maryland or going? I don't know where Appalachia.
Oh, it's huge. New York, all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Remember when we went to Providence?
Yeah.
And it's just like, now granted, it was a day trip for us, but still going to Providence after dark, you're going, okay, now I can see why Lovecraft would really get some of that kind of scary stuff. Oh, Arkansas. Dana's the geography whiz. Oh, there we go.
Wow, that is a beautiful book.
It is indeed a very, very pretty book.
Look how hefty that thing is. That's like a table breaker.
Yeah.
Damn.
So you'll have to give us a review on the next session because I'd like to hear about it.
Where did I pull that off the shelf? Right down here. It came with a few other items that came with it.
It came with the actual stag
Player's
head.
guides.
Okay. Oh, it's
It had
Cypher. All right.
Yeah, it's Cypher system. So if you're wanting to play that, that's Cypher system.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The term stag party.
Maybe that's a goal, is just to learn.
If it's Cypher system, I've probably got it on my shelf, even though I've never played a single game. They're just so pretty.
No one plays.
I want you to play the Strange. That's what I want you to play.
The Strange sounds interesting. Numenera just didn't do it for me. I was just kind of like, what are you trying to be, Numenera? But I don't know. Just not my cup of tea. But with that said, I don't actually. Well, I have a closing bumper, but I don't have anything fun to show here. Oh, we'll just do this
You're
one.
serious? You don't know. Everybody knows you never go full retard.
See, some life advice. We even give life advice on the show.
Never go full gamer.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that said, I'm JC. You can find me at Grindhouse Media on Twitter. You can also find some of my work over at SolarianGames.com. If you do a search for me in Amazon, my stuff comes up. And I think also like RPG Geek has a more intricate showing of my work. So with that said, Terry
Mixon. I write science fiction. Find me on Amazon.
All right. Bryce.
I'm Bryce. I'm a violent recluse. You'll never find me.
And you take off shirts during porn music. That's we learned that today. And finally, Gwen.
Hi. Bye.
All right, everyone. We are out of here. So let me go ahead and find our get out of here bumpers, and we'll see you next week. So here we go.